Hello, welcome to Action Recaps. Today we will talk about the film named Taxi Driver. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. Travis Bickle goes to a taxi station in New York City where he applies for a driver position with the tough-talking personnel officer. During his interview, Travis claims to be an honorably discharged Marine. It's suggested he served in Vietnam. Due to his chronic insomnia, Travis is hired as a night shift dispatcher because of his strong personality. His narrative journal, on the other hand, reveals that he is a lonely and unhappy 26-year-old man. His birth and birthplace are unknown. He sends his parents letters as well as birthday and Christmas cards, telling them he works with the Secret Service while deceiving them about his life. Travis is a lonely man who spends his days in an unclean apartment somewhere in Manhattan or in seedy porn theaters on and off 42nd Street. At one porn theater he tries to make an advance on the concession lady to no avail. He works 12 or 14-hour shifts between the evening and late night hours, transporting passengers among all 5 boroughs of New York City. During his breaks, he visits a local all-night diner to eat something or just have a few cups of coffee with his fellow taxi drivers, who congregate there during their late-night lunch breaks. A self-appointed philosophical type named Wizard is one of them. Wizard discusses the deterioration of urban nightlife. Travis mostly converses awkwardly and softly when he's spoken to by other taxi drivers. During a taxi journey, Travis sees and falls in love with Betsy, a campaign assistant for New York Senator Charles Palantine, who is seeking the presidential nomination and promising sweeping societal change. Travis sees Betsy talking with a coworker named Tom, and he has the confidence to ask her out. After flirting with him over coffee, she agrees to go on a date with him because he empathizes with her own apparent isolation. She compares him to a character in Kris Kristofferson's song, The Pilgrim, Chapter 33. Travis is further revolted by what he considers the moral decay around him. One night while on shift, Iris, a 12-year-old child prostitute, gets in his cab, attempting to escape her pimp. Travis is shocked by the incident, and her pimp, Sport, rushes to the cab. Sport drags Iris away with him and offers Travis a crumpled $20 bill as a bribe not to talk, which torments Travis with the memory of his failure to assist the girl. On one of his shifts, Travis picks up Senator Palantine and an aide. He tells the senator he will vote for him, and the senator replies that taxi drivers teach him more than limousine drivers. The senator asks Travis, "What's the one thing that bugs you most?" And Travis says he would want the next president to wipe the scum off New York City. On their date, however, due to his lack of social skills, Travis takes Betsy to a porno theater to view a hardcore Swedish sex education film titled Language of Love. She is furious and leaves him, taking a taxi home on her own. He tries to patch things up with Betsy the next day by phoning her and sending her flowers, but she refuses to speak with him even after his attempts are in vain. Returning to the campaign headquarters, Travis confronts Betsy and warns her that she will burn in hell like the others. When they break up, Travis is devastated. He later finds a man who appears to be equally deranged as he is. The person instructs Travis to park his car outside an apartment complex while the meter runs. He informs him that the woman in the window is his spouse, and that she's with her boyfriend in an apartment on the other side of town. He intends to murder both of them with a .44 Magnum revolver. At a diner one night, Travis approaches Wizard and tries to convey his agony, but when Wizard offers a perfunctory response to Travis' concerns with the young prostitute and others, Travis becomes enraged and retorts, "That's about as stupid as anything I've ever heard." Travis' emotions begin to darken. While driving through the city, he becomes enraged by the low-level street crime, particularly prostitution, that he sees and purchases a number of weapons from an illicit weapon dealer as a result. Travis' interest in Senator Palantine's public appearances grows ominously intense, and he appears to blame the presidential hopeful for his own failure to court Betsy and perhaps wants to add her employer to his growing list of targets. Back at his apartment, he starts a rigorous fitness regimen and rehearses a threatening speech in the mirror while pulling out a pistol that he's attached to a homemade sliding action holster on his right arm. "You talkin' to me?" Later, after attending a Palantine rally, he approaches an apprehensive Secret Service agent about joining up before slipping away into the crowd. In an accidental warm-up, Travis walks into a robbery in a run-down grocery store and shoots the would-be robber in the face. When the authorities arrive, a grateful grocer encourages Travis, who lacks a gun permit, to flee, and then proceeds to beat the barely alive stick-up guy to death with a steel pole. Later, after seeing Iris on the street, he chases her. After another day passes, Travis asks to pay for her time and is sent to Sport. Sport sends Travis up to Iris's room in an attempt to defuse the tension. Once in her room, Travis does not have sex with her and instead tries to convince her to leave this way of life behind. The next morning, Iris and Travis meet for breakfast at a local coffee shop, and Travis becomes enthralled with rescuing this innocent youngster who believes hanging out with hookers, pimps, and drug dealers is more cool than dating young boys and going to school. Iris considers Travis' offer, but then Sport seduces and convinces her to stay. Apparently, while Travis looks out of the window of his taxi, Travis writes a note to Iris that contains all his money and states that he doesn't intend to live. At a public rally, Travis Bickle is unexpectedly and dramatically shown to be sporting a rudimentary mohawk hairstyle, allaying any lingering reservations about his sanity. He crawls through the crowd and plans to kill Senator Palantine but is discovered by Secret Service agents and flees. Travis goes back to his apartment to get his guns. He then drives to the Alphabet City, an area in New York's Lower East Side that includes avenues A through A. Sport walks up to him and confronts him. Travis shoots Sport in his stomach when Sport tries to light a cigarette. Travis storms into the brothel and slaps the bouncer. Sport, who had been following Travis, grazes Travis' neck with a bullet, causing him to feel an arterial gush. Travis then unloads one of his guns into Sport and kills him. Travis shoots the screaming bouncer again and slaps him. Travis is shot in the face by Iris' mafioso client. Travis tackles the bouncer, but Travis stabs him in the hand. Travis then kills the bouncer with one bullet to his brain. The bouncer tries calmly to fire a bullet under his chin, but Travis is unable to find any weapons, so he settles for resting on a comfortable sofa until the police arrive. Travis, who is now bloody, tries to shoot himself in the head, but all he has left is a smear. He then ponders the chaos and carnage that he caused. A brief epilogue follows, in which Travis is recovering from the incident. He has received a letter from Iris' parents that thanks him for saving their daughter, and the media, in newspaper clipping, praises him as a hero for saving her as well. Travis happily returns to his job without seeming to have grown closer with his fellow taxi drivers. One of his passengers one night happens to be Betsy. She mentions Travis's saving Iris, but Travis denies that he is a hero. He dropped her off without charging her. He is driving away when he notices a strange expression on his face. He adjusts the rearview mirror of his cab, giving the impression that he is about to lose his rationality. If you enjoy this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel.